So I just finished watching this first season of 30 Rock, and I can safely say that I am hooked and I will see this through. I'm just gonna talk about TV shows now in the intro of my videos because that's what I've been doing with all my free time. So a month ago it was the first Canadian Authors for Indies Days, and which was a day to celebrate independent bookstores. Local Canadian authors teamed up with their local bookstore and they kind of became booksellers for the day. It was just a day to celebrate your local independent bookstore and meet some really great authors. And it was really fun. And on that day I decided, hey, I'm going to try my hand at daily vlogging. So I did. And I failed miserably. I tried turning the camera onto myself in order to just say hello and wave to the camera and let them feel really like, hey look, I daily vlogged out in public. I'm really a successful human being. And so I attempted that and I got this. Yeah, no, didn't press record. Press record when I thought I stopped. It's a hard knock life, guys. So the first bookstore that I went to was Book City, the one located near the beaches on Queen Street. I've been to it a bunch of times before. It has a nice selection of everything. I like their tables. They usually always have like a table outside of discounted books. The next bookstore that I went to was Out&About, which is about a minute away from Book City. It's a children's bookstore. I had never been into it before. It's super small but really adorable. The last bookstore that I visited was another story bookshop. They have a great selection too. They have a lot of fiction, they have poetry, they have some graphic novels. They also have a whole section on gender, race, and class issues books. It's just really great. Everyone that I bumped into was super sweet. And when I was at this bookstore I was like, okay, well I have to at least buy one thing from this whole event. And I knew I wanted to buy something written by a Canadian because it was Canadian for Authors for Indies, and I don't read a lot of books by Canadians. So I picked up The Wondrous Woo by Carrie K.Y. Leung. She was one of the authors that was participating in the event. The story follows Miramar Woo, who is the eldest of the Woo children. Her family immigrated to Canada when she was young from Hong Kong, and a couple months before she's about to move out of her house to Carleton University, which is in Ottawa, her father gets hit by a car, and it's kind of their life dealing with the passing of their father and a husband and how they're just living with it. That brings me to my part 2 of this video. The month of June for me will be Laura Reed's Canadian Literature Month because I haven't done that. And I need to, and I just want to delve into the world of Canadian literature. So I thought I'd share with you my to-be-read list because it's a work in progress and I am open to suggestions. Obviously the first book that I'll be reading, and I am reading right now because I'm halfway through it, is The Wondrous Woo. The next 2 books that I will be reading are Anne of Green Gables and Anne of Avonlea, which are by Ellen Montgomery. I also want to read something by Margaret Atwood because I've never read anything by her except a poem called The Variations of Love that I had to read in high school. I'm not sure what I want to read yet, but I think I'm gonna go with The Handmaid's Tale, but I might switch. I also want to read something by Alice Munro. She writes a lot of short stories. And last on my list is Scott Pilgrim vs. the World by Brian O'Malley. I have read Seconds by Brian O'Malley, which I just love. I also read Lost at Sea, which was the first graphic novel that he had ever written, which I hated. So feel like I could really love Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, or I might not enjoy it. So I'm interested. So those are the books that I'm planning to read for Laura Reed's CanLit 2015. If you have any suggestions, I am totally open. And Canada. Ooh, here's a good question. Do I sound Canadian to you, or do I just sound... What do I sound like to you? Some Canadians sound very Canadian. I feel like it depends on where you're from within Canada. Also, like in America, some people I feel like just sound like what I sound like. Or they'll have an accent depending where they're from. If you do have an accent and you think I have an accent, does my accent sound good? Weird, funny, bad. What is this? I don't know. Bye guys.